What's up, guys? Hey, welcome back. We're going to be playing around with the chainsaw dyno yet again today, and I hope I'm not boring you guys with the same saw. I like what happened with the other saw. We ended up tweaking that thing to about 1.5 horsepower and stock their 1.2 horsepower, and they weren't putting down the rated power on the shelf there. Pulled it over, and I tuned it and everything too. Made sure I tacked them out both the same. And yeah, it was pretty sad. It was not even putting out a horsepower on this one over here. And sorry about the mess, guys, but yeah, we ended up brazing that up. It was tack welded before. That's the larger outlet and then advanced the timing, and we made around 1.5 horsepower with this thing. It's when you rev it compared to the other one. I have a short out, and you can obviously just see and tell by running the saw that just this exhaust mod and advanced timing tweak, it ran so much better. Now, unlike most Neotechs, they did, well, the ones I've worked on anyway, have a baffle in this. I know my 543 Cologne didn't, and I think a couple other saws I've seen don't have them. So I guess depends on what day of the week is if they're going to put the baffle in or not. It doesn't make much sense to me. But anyhow, we're going to take this saw and run it a couple times. I'm hoping this ain't boring too many of you guys, but I'm just using this thing nonstop the best I can. I've been fighting getting the bigger saws on there too much. When I get up to 4 or 5 horsepower, I got some vibration issues here or there. I've tried rubber bushings and stuff like that, and it's just hard with having such a compact setup here. Now, I want to redesign the dyno. It's happening, guys, but I'm focusing on the motorcycle dyno a little bit more and just trying to look that way a little bit, but we are going to get this right. I have plans. It's not quite enough inertia on this thing to even be running 5, 6, 7 horsepower saws. And I have an idea. I got multiple ideas that should work. And real quick, it's just going to be, I'm going to get 2 7.5 flywheels, and it'll be where one will be able to be bolted up to the bigger saws, and if you want to run the smaller saws, you pull it right off. If that works, guys, if that works. And then we're going to re-gear this thing a little bit to get the RPMs down on the roller itself, the flywheel itself. We're going to try and slow that down. If I keep this thing under 6,000 RPM on the roller, it's freaking accurate as can be, but some of those bigger saws are getting the inertia up pretty quick and the roller up pretty quick on this thing, and and that's when I get scared results from the hall sensor. Now, a motorcycle dyno, if you ask me, will be 10 times easier. You won't have the vibration all in such close area like you do on this setup here, and this is not 100% how it should be. I plan on getting a steel plate, at least 1/4 inch at least, and putting all this down on the steel plate and rubber pads. So I want to make this adjustable. There's a couple other things. Now I have the check it out, little piece of all thread where I can push the saw back. That helps substantially. But yeah, I just got to authenticate it a little more. But anyhow, stop yapping my jaws. I'm just going to try to pep this one up, and we're going to get into it just like the last video, kind of show you the dyno a little bit. We got the AR dyno board in there now. It definitely is working a lot better. I'll quit yapping my jaws, and we'll get in here and we'll tinker with this saw. I already have the stock readings we're going to bring up. We're going to get right on to seeing what this thing does with bolting this exhaust up. I'm getting ready to do another one, but to shorten this video up for me, I'm just going to bolt this exhaust up and just show you guys the power difference from just bolting this exhaust on, and then I'm going to advance the timing on this thing too. We'll see if we can get this thing running close to the other one. One has probably 4 or 5 more hours than the other one. One's definitely got more time in it than the other, but we'll just see how it pans out, guys. A compression test would probably tell which one's going to make more power. And saying that, guys, that brings up a good, I had these 260s on here. This has got 170 psi, and this put down 3 horsepower, right on 3 horsepower. I think it was like 297, 28 something. It was knocking on the door at 3 horsepower, and I didn't do too crazy with tuning. This is cleaned down to 125 psi, and it's almost a half a horsepower difference. That's interesting, but it's all cool things to look at, guys. Let's get into it. I got the 200T Cologne back here, guys. It fell out of the tree when I was working, and I think that's salvageable to get it running and do dyno pulls. So we're definitely going to be working with that, and then maybe we'll pull the cylinder off and start doing some modifications to the cylinder and port work. Who knows what we might get into with that. I just need a shift boot. It blew the shift, not shift boot, geez, oh Pete, blew the intake boot. So we're gonna have to get a new one of those. A couple little pieces I think I can epoxy back together, get it running on a dyno. We got a sprocket and everything coming in for this, so I can set it back up to run it on the dyno here, because this is quarter pitch. That's how I bought it. So that's coming in this week. So look to seeing this out on the dyno, see what it puts down. We'll compare this to the Neotech. Hands down, I know who's going to win. 100% will bet my money on this saw. Yeah, so we just kind of I want to compare the, the 194 to the 200T. I'm really interested to see what happens on the dyno. This is knocking on the door, I think, with the power of a 200T, but I guess we'll see. All right, here's a look at the results of the stock Neotech 2500 here. This is the other one. One of these has more hours than the other, so I would assume that one may run a little bit stronger. So we got one, oh, definitely hit something on the graph there. Okay guys, so we have 1.17 horsepower and 1.16 and 1.16, 1, 1, 2, and 3 there of the Neotech. All just around 1 foot-pound of torque. So that's not too bad. Real close to the stock rating on this one. So right off the back, this one is definitely looking a little stronger. But the last time I ran the Neotech, I didn't really go too far of really dialing it in. It was around 0.9 horsepower non-stop. So that saw was a little bit more down on power. So what we're gonna do here is get this baby warmed up. We're gonna bolt on the exhaust I already made for the other saw onto this one and just see what kind of response we get here. Here's a look at the stock Neotech exhaust. If you look, excuse me guys, if you look in here, you'll see that it does have a baffle in there. Not a bad looking little outlet there. And what I did was took a unit bit, punched that out, and then we just put a larger outlet, and then we cut it in half. Not the prettiest thing in the world. We cut it in half and then tack welded it back together, and I just brazed it the other night. So that's all it is. Good little power gain. 100%. When you're running this saw, it is a noticeable difference. Okay, pull number 2. Guys, I pulled up both of those pulls for you there with the exhaust. 1.28 and 1.27 on 2 pulls there. Very similar torque readings, and max RPM is just about the same, and we made the power. It looks like we're making the power around 7,000 RPM. All right guys, I'm holding this with my unsteady hand. Here is the 2 differences. Almost a 9% gain with our muffler mod. Could we play it around and pulled a little bit more with the tuning? It's a good possibility we could. But to me, it was running pretty good where it was. I don't know that we get much better. But right here, 1.17 horsepower is what we did before the muffler mod. And we ended up hitting a 1.28 horsepower after the muffler mod. Almost 9% gain from just a muffler mod. Advance the timing on this thing, muffler mod it, you will be around a 1.5 horsepower saw, which is what you want for a top handle saw, if you ask me. And it is 100% a noticeable difference. If you haven't seen one of my shorts on these, I compare the two. And when you're running the saw, it is undoubtedly a different saw. It really helps. These like a little bit of timing, and that muffler mod really helps. All right, guys, this was undoubtedly just a thrown together video just for you guys. I pulled it back out, and I've been doing that a lot, messing with it. And again, I've been really trying, guys, to be able to get these bigger saws. And I've done so much research, and I know I got to come to the realization that this is just not enough inertia to really put these big thumpers on here, guys. So for now, we're going to just keep rolling with the limbing saws and doing stuff. I got the 200T. I'm going to get together. That's the one that fell out of the tree when I was, it just stole the saw from me. And it got busted up pretty good. I'll put a video of that right now. And so I'd like to get that together to compare it to the 194T. And then maybe we're going to start fooling around and doing some port work on the 200T and just see what kind of power results we get on the dyno. Guys, I got the quarter pitch set up on the 2511 Cologne. I have a 3/8 sprocket coming in this week, so look for some footage coming out of us putting that on the dyno, and we can kind of compare it to the cheap old sluggish Neotechs. You definitely got to do work to these. They're slugs. It was kind of funny. I started on these in the tree, and once I advanced the saws and let them sit on the shelves for the longest time, when I went back to them, I'm like, oh my gosh, these things are so sluggish. And then like kind of reviewing back to when I started climbing and stuff, it's just like, I can't believe I was using those things. But anyhow, thanks for watching, guys. Project RM back here. It's underway. We got it tuned and dialed in really good. We finally got the head stud to hold. We did blow a head gasket, got that all fixed, got them torqued down just under spec since we have the 1 weaker stud. And that's fine. I guess if we go making more power, that's going to be a no-brainer, guys. But it's going to be thrown together just to play with for us and for you all, obviously. And then we'll look for getting a newer 85 cylinder put on that thing. And don't forget about the bike dyno build coming your way, guys. It's going to be probably months out. I'm hoping to pick at it little by little. But anyhow, guys, thanks for watching Digging Deep. Until next time.